Okay, so knock on wood, I think we're good to go. We should be live on both Twitch and YouTube. So this is going to be a three-part stream. First part is business, and second part is Sonic Rumble, and then third part is also business. So I am currently running Aitum multi-stream. I assume that's how it's pronounced. And so this is the most GPU or processing intensive option. Although honestly, doing everything through the GPU is not that bad. Network usage is probably a lot higher because I am generating two different streams. GPU usage is currently sitting around 64%. VTube Studio around like 20%-ish. Just for a note for later. I may try this again without multi-streaming. I am also recording. So basically the way that Aitum multi-stream works is it is a plugin that you install, and you can set up different options for your main canvas or a vertical canvas to broadcast to. So my first false start, which you probably won't see because I've currently got it unlisted, I thought, okay, well, to reduce the need to encode things multiple times, I'll change my streaming settings for quality to the ones appropriate for YouTube, which is basically double that of Twitch. It's 12 megabits per second instead of 6. Although if you're doing this in OBS yourself, you'd be doing 12,000 kilobits. That's the option there. And I typically record at the appropriate YouTube resolution, which is that. For 1080p 60 frame video anyway. However, Twitch does have a maximum bitrate of 6 megabits. And what was happening is that it would give me error 1000, failed to download video, and I don't think anything actually got captured during my initial broadcast on Twitch. YouTube was fine though. So I have since had to go back to my old setup where I have my stream setup, my streaming video settings catering to Twitch. My recording is still catering to YouTube, and I might just stop doing recordings based on how well this simulcast goes with YouTube. And then you just have an iTunes multi-stream window. You go in there, you customize, you can either log into various platforms or use a stream key, whatever is your preference. And then under the advanced settings, you can customize the video and audio output separately. So what I've done is I've gone in there. So by default, the built-in stream settings are for Twitch, and that is how I go live initially. Then I go in there, and I've got my recording settings basically copied over for the YouTube output. I just hit the iTunes multi-stream button for YouTube to go live. And according to whatever settings that you have in your live streaming manager, and I know this is super boring, guys, but I'm going over this as like a mini tutorial for people that are thinking of getting into multi-streaming themselves. You'll go to your live stream section of, so you go to YouTube Studio, you go to create at the top right where you would normally go to upload a video, and then you click on go live. And that basically brings you, when you are live, it'll bring you straight to your current stream tab. And then there is also an option to schedule streams, or if you have like multiple streams that are live on your channel at the same time, which I guess is what businesses will do. Like if a company like Nintendo or Sony wants to do like a state of play in multiple languages, they'll technically have multiple streams going on the same channel, right? and that's where you go to schedule stuff. I don't know how scheduling quite works, but I assume you basically create like a placeholder video with no upload, and then when you are about to go live, you just choose from a list. But yeah, where I would normally go to schedule a stream, I can actually see this stream currently listed. I can go, and if I click on the stream tab, it goes back there. I can use that to change details. When I went live, I actually forgot to set the current game title. And you know what? I'm going to change one little detail and see if that updates live. So I started with it's Aitum to simulcast. It's high time is the pun there. I'm going to change that to it is Aitum to simulcast. And then and if you don't, oh, interesting. So when I first went live, it just seemed to grab my banner to use as a default thumbnail. But now that it's been live for a little bit, or maybe it's because I just updated it. Yeah, that has updated the title. So you do that from your live tab just by going to edit. I could also probably, here, I'm going to try this. I might regret this. So currently our visibility is public. And if I put that to unlisted and then save, we should still be live. And I can still view it on my channel. So this is basically what you would use for like a bandwidth test for Twitch, I suppose. And then, if I open it up on a private tab, sure enough, it is no longer visible. Cool. All right. And same deal if we set it to private. If I'm logged in. No, if you're logged in, it actually disappears entirely. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, back to public. Uh-oh. There it is. It's back. And because I hid... what is it doing here? My live tab disappeared because I unlisted that first attempt. I still can't click on it. I think it's because it's technically not populated with a video since we have not finished this stream yet. But yeah, thus far everything seems to be going pretty well. Performance has still remained smooth as far as all my other software is concerned. Only downside is I do not... Oh, and just in case anybody wants it, here is the URL. I replaced the channel ID with an asterisk. So that's the web address you would go to manage all your YouTube live stream stuff. Similar to the stream manager for Twitch. But yeah, so I currently have basically two stream managers open, one for Twitch, one for YouTube. Unfortunately, so Restream's chat application seemed like it would be cool, but it doesn't seem to actually function unless you're actually streaming with Restream. Like I can, because technically your chat doesn't quote unquote exist on YouTube unless you're live. And so Restream would have to directly connect to the live stream that is going. And what's nice is that there's an option where you can send a message and it will try and send from either. I don't know if it sends from both accounts at the same time, but it's pretty slick. But unless you're using Restream, unfortunately, that's not useful. Because of how YouTube chat works, OBS works the same way. If you are streaming to YouTube primarily, you have a placeholder window, and then when you go live, it updates that. I tried setting that as a custom browser doc in OBS. However, it just remains on the placeholder. It doesn't actually recognize Aitum going live. And update to it doesn't update that placeholder to the YouTube chat. So I'll need to look into a multi-chat solution for my purposes to view um, chat in real time, but at the very least, we now have merged chat. And you might be wondering, hey, Tides, I thought that you were like really against multi-streaming because of Twitch's policies. Well, the CEO recently got into an interview because Giguk, Gig UK, Garnt, however you want to call him, one of the trash taste boys recently got suspended for it. And like previously, Nutty Lamau, a streamer bot resource creator, makes a lot of extensions and widgets for streamer.bot, released his own multi-streaming solution and got suspended as a result of that. That he wasn't big enough to make enough of a fuss, but apparently Giguk kind of made the CEO of Twitch change their mind. And they were basically saying, yeah, we had it in our policy. We were not really enforcing it strongly, but sometimes we would. Technically, if people did report it, we'd have to enforce it. Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, that is, you know, it's like they say, if there is a fine for breaking the law, that is a law for poor people and not the rich. If you have enough of an audience and a big enough voice that you can get your stuff, you can get your channel unsuspended by complaining enough, you aren't playing by the same rules as affiliates and smaller streamers. And I am glad that they are changing that. And I expect, while the TOS has not changed yet, as far as I'm aware, the fact that they've committed to that change, I'm pointing at that and I'm saying now is the time. I better get with this now before I lose my motivation. So here we are. Yeah, so I have switched over to Streamlabs shared chat. Restream has their own embeddable shared chat that I've also set up, and it's also kind of cool, but honestly, like, Streamlabs solution is more comfortable, and like Stream Elements might be going out of the way. They recently started asking for support, and they've been going hard on like their own multi-stream client. And to be clear, there is the Aitum Stream Suite. There is also the Restream program that you can download. Stream Elements has their own suite that you install as a plugin. My understanding is that the iTunes Stream Suite is its own plugin you use or a program you use instead of OBS, whereas the multi-stream plugin is just that. It is a plugin, and like I said, if you've got a power enough PC to make it work at enough bandwidth, that seems to be my preference so far. Because the thing with Restream is for free users, you can only, so if you use Restream Studio, they watermark your stream. And otherwise, you will have to, basically when you go into your settings and go to your stream, instead of choosing Twitch as your service or YouTube, you would go to restream.io, and basically you stream there, and then they split your stream to both Twitch and YouTube. And what I'm expecting is going to happen there is, one, it'll output at the same bit rate, which means if I try the YouTube bit rate, Twitch is probably going to throw a hissy fit again, or my VODs will end up getting archived in Twitch's bit rate, which I don't want, because I can have double the visual fidelity on YouTube for VOD archives. And that's what I want to do. So later on, that's what we're going to test when we check out Restream. That'll probably be very brief compared to the rest of this, because I do actually want to stream. And so far, this is a comfortable setup. It's a bit more technical. And a lot of other people, like my buddy Digital Blues, for example, they are using a Japanese plugin that was made for VTubers, basically. What's kind of crazy is Twitch actually likes my bitrate for once. Normally it complains because the the fact that I'm on CBR, constant bitrate, it would still typically output more than 6 megabits, and then Twitch would complain, but at least it would not shut my stuff down like it did earlier at 12 megabits. But yes, the plugin multiple RTMP outputs plugin, aka OBS multi RTMP. If you were to go to the GitHub page under Sorayuki, the tutorial for that is entirely in Japanese. And there are video tutorials on how to use that, but quite frankly, I have been very outspoken in the past and will continue to be that I don't like how some things in the VTuber space are gatekept, whether by streamers not wanting to inform their audience about things for whatever reason, or maybe their inability to educate because they don't fully understand. A lot of videos are typically like, hey, here's how you set up audio splitting, and then they'll show you how to set up voice meter banana or whatever, and they'll just say, yeah, just go here, click this, do this, do this, do this, and it works. And they won't explain why it works or what you're doing, just that it works. So yeah, it's a whole thing. Let's actually, now that I've got that unmuted, let's actually get that theme. And then of course I'm also not happy that there are situations like, you know, VTube Studio. I don't want to say it's got like a monopoly on things, because it doesn't. There are other solutions, they're just not as good. And it took until the official Live 2D service, which you have to pay for as like a subscription to use. Hold on. It doesn't like the fact that I closed it and then restarted. Give me a sec. We'll let it wind down properly, and then we shouldn't have that issue. But like, it took until Live 2D released their own version of being able to put items between layers for VTube Studio to come up with that feature like within a week. And for reference, when I was commissioning my model with Slum, I specifically got assets for like a hand that could like hold on to or grasp something, but we ended up not getting it rigged because after they announced that as a feature, they then they may have deleted that tweet. In fact, because we weren't able to find it again and thought that like we were being gaslit, and Slum even went to like the official Discord for VTube Studio and they were like, nope, can't do that. And then I was like, I know what I saw. I shared it with her and I was like, oh, this is super cool. I'm going to go get an asset for this. And I paid a little extra to get like an extra hand made and everything for like in my PSD for my original model. Then never happened until Live 2D themselves made it happen. And it's like, okay, sure. just lie to us, why don't you? And so, yeah. I'm sure what it was is probably similar to when they did the VFX and they had certain things where it's like, oh, hey, artists might not want you to see certain things when the model is like scattering apart with that one thing. And, you know, anyone that has nude parts to their model, guess what? Your nipples are going to fly off your body. So don't do that. And that's why they put those in a separate category with an extra warning that you need to enable. So I understand why things are sometimes done the way that they are, but yeah, I am not happy with the state of affairs. So I am just happy that we're finally starting to get some proper solutions here. And thus far, I'm very pleased with how Aitum is operating. Just keep in mind, when you eventually do need to end things, you can either end your stream in the YouTube studio, or you can end it in the Aitum multi-stream tab in OBS, and it'll take a couple extra seconds, but it will end your YouTube stream. So yeah, I think that's it for now. Now we can get on to Sonic Rumble. So let's talk about Sonic Rumble. Sonic Rumble is a Fall Guys clone made by a mobile developer. Rovio? Huh. Okay, I thought Rovio made the others. But yeah, creators of Angry Birds made this. And I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if I wanted to stream this because there are some things in here that I'm not exactly comfortable with. And I was taking the stance where it's like, when it comes to gacha stuff, I don't like showing me purchasing anything on stream because I don't want to encourage people to feel a need to do that. That said, it's how all these games make money, so it's part of the business model, yada yada. I think there's good stuff in this game. They have mentioned that they have a commitment to improving it. They have announced some early things that sound good. They are going to be reducing the price of certain things, but we're going to be honest here. We're going to talk about things honestly. And I do want to highlight, this does have the mobile game problem of like, this HUD covers the entire screen. And sometimes when this isn't here, there would be like extra symbols over here asking you to like sign up for the newsletter to get the golden shadow skin or whatever. So like, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. But I understand that these buttons have to be big. So we're just going to go through one thing at a time here. I'm going to explain as much as I can before we get into a match, so that I don't have to explain as much of the nitty gritty. So yes, this is still going to be quite boring and dry, but we'll get into the game soon. So server region, we get to pick from Oregon or Germany. Wow. So at the top left here, we've got our profile. You can customize your avatar and your banner. Banners are typically tied to like Battle Pass and store purchases, but some of them are tied to achievements. Like for example, there are a couple for character usage, like one for using a character 100 times, one for 250, and then another for 750. Icons, again, can be tied to Battle Pass or purchases, or just simply redeeming a character or costume will get you their avatar. These are your stats that are listed. I think this is actually pretty cool that you get to see your personal highest ranking. You also get to review all your scores for stuff that you've ever achieved on every single map that's available in the game. So there is a leaderboard system, or a ranked system that you don't have to opt into it. It's purely automatic, and basically every week you'll get some rewards based on your placement. You will always get something, even if you lose. So for example, so right now I'm at the second highest rank. Chaos Emerald League is basically kind of the end game. There's that, and then there's Master Emerald. And so this is where the highest competition is. If you get kicked out of Master Emerald, then you're going to be back in here, which means like all the crazies that happen to not play the game for a week will end up in this sort of bucket. Everything up to this point is, you know, you can play the game pretty casually for, you know, throughout the week, and you'll progress pretty quickly in most cases. But yeah, it starts at I think it's stone and bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and then diamonds. And typically the way it works is there are different brackets, and if you happen to be in that bracket as of Monday at 3 a.m. Eastern, you will get or lose a certain amount of stars in progress to the next league, and then you'll get a certain number of skill points. And that's why I say that you're always going to get something out of the weekly reward, even if you technically failed. And so the nasty thing about the Chaos Emerald League is that if you are in, like, first off, when you straight up get into the Chaos Emerald League, if you are below rank 50 in the leaderboard, you are losing 4 stars, and that's going to kick you right back to Diamond. And your only means of progressing in this one, you have to be in the top 50, and you'll gain nothing, so you'll just stay where you are. You have to be in the top 20 to gain just 2 stars, and this is a 10-star system, I believe. Yes. And then if you're in the top 5, then you just automatically get all 10 stars that you need to just get you out of that bucket. This is something that's holdover from the previous leagues, it doesn't really matter at this stage, except for this guy. We'll talk about this guy in a second. But yes, all these other leagues, like, I'll be honest, are pretty easy to progress through if you just play the game. But once you get to Chaos Emerald, you will be in and out of that. And like, I've played for a good several hours, at least 5, probably less than 10. And I'm currently sitting at this way of measuring things just drives me crazy, because that's actually 3,800. So I'm currently sitting at 24 million, whereas this guy is at 235 million. And I'm at 34, so like I'm still just keeping my head above water, right? And then there are also permanent rewards when you first make it to each of the appropriate ranks. There are also achievements for each of the normie ranks. And as you saw on my profile, you also get to you get to see your highest star rating. Once you make it to Master Emerald, though, it changes to Master Emerald times 0, and basically every time you sustain your placement in that, I assume, or every time you get back to it, that number goes up by 1. So, for example, if we go check out this crazy guy at the top of the leaderboard, he has. So I've definitely seen a. So purple star times 1. So I think he has been in Master Emerald rank for at least 2 weeks, is what that means. So he got to it once, and it said times 0, and then he survived 1 more week, and that went up to times 1, and then he got his ass kicked out. Because otherwise, there's no way this person should be here, because they have a 7,484% score multiplier based on everything that they're doing. And then again, for me, for reference, I've been playing this game pretty comprehensively, and I'm only sitting at 1,309. All right, so let's just highlight that that discrepancy there. There's also, well, I've actually run into this person a few times, so they have like double my. So basically, they are making. I think it was this person, yeah, and then this person has gotten a score multiplier of 9,624%. This part of this score also includes a seasonal amount that resets once the season is over. One of the reasons I'm behind on my multiplier is because I've been kind of more strategic and picky with what I'm purchasing, which we'll get into in just a moment. So, dailies are up here. You get Amy's request or Eggman's request. I don't know what the difference is. It might be based on your character choice. Sorry, the game mutes when I tab out. Essentially, when you complete a stage, you will get a ranking, and based on your ranking, you'll get a certain number of thumbs ups. So, like, I think A rank is like 2, S is 3, and S plus is 5, or it might be 3, 4, and 5. I forget. I know for a fact that S plus is 5. And again, that is influenced by your score multiplier, just to be clear. And these requirements increase with each tier. As you can see, it's 2, and then 3, and then another 3, and then 4, and so on and so forth. So every day you're going to get one of these little trackers that will get you rings, skill points, and tokens for one of 2 seasonal skins. So right now we've got a Rouge skin and a Big the Cat skin based on the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. And this is what I mean in that I generally get the Rouge tokens, and then if I don't feel like playing more of the game that day, I won't bother going toward the Big the Cat tokens. There is a crew system, basically like clans or a guild. usually on a weekly basis, you get the crew score mission with Pirate Sonic here. You work together with your team to contribute points to reach different prizes, which will give you a box of these 3 things or rings and so on and so forth. So this week we actually did pretty good. I did pretty good. And we managed to get all of the important rewards, because for progression, skill points and wrenches are one of your big ones. Some weeks, once you hit a crew size of 5, which we only just did, you start getting Pirate Shadow missions, which is a crew battle, where it takes into account your what are these called? Your emblem rank. So as you, so based on your placements, you will get either 1 to 3. So if you're in first place, you get 3 emblems. If you're in second place, you get 2. If you're in third place, you get 1 emblem. And when you hit certain thresholds, like in this case, I currently have 1,300 emblems. If I get 1,314, that'll take me to emblem rank 97. There are also emblem shards, just like crown shards in Fall Guys, and you tend to get those from participating in matches with a group of people, like a party, or I think you might get some if you don't place in the top 3, and the time-limited co-op battles and whatnot. Oh, we actually need to do this. Hold on, how much time do we have? Shit, it just ended. Oh well. I talk too much. Again, this is usually I don't think it's twice per week. You get a different one of these. It'll either be a co-op battle mission once per week, and then some kind of special, like this week it's squads. There can also be low gravity and windbound or something like that, which basically, low gravity does what it says on the tin. It's actually really funny because they don't do anything to prevent you from jumping over obstacles. So if there's a wall that you would normally need to break as a team, you can just jump over it if you could get enough height or bounce off of an enemy or something. Windbound battle, wind will periodically blow from a random direction and then stop. So there's that. Squad mode is, typical Fall Guys squads. You are working together with a cumulative score across your 4-man team. And that cumulative score is what decides whether you make it to the next round or not. And then the finale is always going to be one squad versus another. Co-op battles are exactly what they say. You work together with a group of people to fight one of 5 bosses, I think. Yeah, Death Egg Robot, Egg Pond Rangers, Mech Dragon, Death Queen, or the Bio Lizard. Mech Dragon being from Sonic, like the final boss of Sonic Lost World, if I'm not mistaken. And then some stages are exclusive to squad mode, like Frozen Factory Team, for example, but team ones will appear in solos, which is the default mode. Also, every day you will get 1 ticket to a quick rumble. There is no advantage to a quick rumble. It is literally just, it puts you straight into a finale with anyone else who happens to queue up. Usually those will just get filled by bots, because since it's a finite resource, sometimes people just won't have enough tickets left at the end of a day to join you. And so you'll basically just get a free victory against some bots. But each stage that you complete gives you the same potential score. So if you're trying to min-max your score for the leaderboard, for example, you may as well just do ring survival. Like right now I'm pulling in about 150,000. Again, here's where we yeah, 150,000 per stage that I finish. So theoretically, if I do a ring survival, which is the standard mode, as opposed to a quick rumble, I could get like 450,000 instead. There is a single player stage challenge mode. As you clear stages in the battle royale modes and accomplish certain challenges, like clearing it 3 times, getting a certain rank, or getting a certain number of rings within the mode, like here, achieve A rank. Acquire 1,600 rings by playing that. You can then spend medals to unlock the next star, and then you'll get your next challenge. And then eventually you'll get them to 5 stars. Every time you complete one of these stars, you get 100 points toward the next reward. I've gotten all the main rewards from this, and then eventually they just give you a whole bunch of wrenches, rather. Which again we'll talk about in a moment. So that's kind of a preview of what all the rewards for that look like. Additionally, when you complete these in a single player challenge or a co-op challenge, which requires 4 players, there is the standard difficulty, which is the mode as you're used to it, and then there is hard difficulty, which is what unlocks when you get 5 stars. So you get 5 red rings, which is the game's premium currency for clearing both of those. And then for single player and 4 players with the hard variation, which will add extra obstacles or sometimes change up the goal or the mechanic of the match, you will get 10 red rings per completion. Some of these are a little buggy. Some of them are like reach the goal in a certain amount of time when you're playing with 4 players, but it uses the survival rules. So kind of like with Fall Guys, where if you have 4 people alive, you're technically earning 4 seconds per second in terms of points, because you're accruing 4 players worth of score towards the end goal. And then as people die off, you'll start losing that multiplier, so to speak. But there was one that we played on that was really, really tough, and the timer was going way faster than it should have. So we kind of concluded that like it was a run stage, which is normally just, you know, finish the race in time. But it was counting 4 seconds per second for each of us that were still alive. And then as we crossed the finish line, the timer started to slow down, which there's something there, but I don't think that was intended. I think that was a bug. I think they used the wrong code for that stage. And it was one of the last ones that we completed. One of us, unfortunately, was having some connection issues and kept dropping. I want to say it was Sky Sanctuary Run. So yeah, that one might need some attention from the developers. But we did it. It took us like 3 to 5 times, but we did it. And of course, the person that was kind of struggling with that stage managed to finish, and then the person that was like really proficient at it, they were the one that were struggling that time. And it's like, oh my god, that would be so bad if they didn't happen to finish. Okay, so. We got our crew system. You can customize this with various things, your favorite characters and whatnot. It tells you your crew's combined like contributions since joining. I don't think this is your total from your profile page, because that's like 88,214. And I've earned in total 200. Okay, this needs to be highlighted. My total score playing this game from launch is 285 million, and this guy has almost reached that in 2 days, because the rankings go through a calculation stage on Mondays. So Tuesday at 3 a.m. is when the new leaderboard kicks in. So it has been like a day and a half. No. It's been 2.5 days. And they have almost as much score in 2.5 days as I have achieved since launch. So that's crazy. So here's all your Battle Pass stuff. There will typically be multiple Battle Passes at a time. They are very expensive, but there is a free track that will get you a bunch of stuff, like a sticker for Whisper. Yay! We love our furry lesbians. More about them later. There are also missions, which are basically like minor achievements. Some of the events will have raffles where they will add extra pickups. This is similar to like the Miku event in Fall Guys, where in this case you pick up Nights into Dreams blue orbs, and you can open up up to 3 per day of these 8 random boxes, 400 blue orbs per. This actually takes a while to build if you play the game casually, but I went hard on Tuesday and built up a surplus. So got some tune-up wrenches, got some silver medals. That's what I need right now, actually, and bronze medals, which I actually think I don't need anymore. And once you hit certain thresholds of draws, then you'll unlock different things like a nameplate, bronze medals, icon, and a box of silver and gold medals. Again, there are some missions here that will just give you more of the blue chips, and there's an event pass. So if you want to unlock Knights as a playable character with some exclusive character-specific skills, you can get them. But it's going to cost you $12 Canadian. So that is up to you. So the way that they're kind of pricing things is that the battle passes are basically kind of your equivalent of like a Fortnite skin or something like that, but the actual shop is prohibitively expensive, and that's the thing that they're going to be addressing soon. And then, as I said, there will be not bi-weekly, but twice per week. There will be your co-op battle mission, and then there will be your event mission, and each of them will have a separate leaderboard where you complete these little achievements. You'll gain progress toward these rewards. Again, I stopped doing them once I get the Rouge tokens, and on a lot of weeks where there wasn't a character skin I cared about, I didn't even bother. So we got, Business Tycoon Rouge and Kingpin Big. And so he's a legendary skin. Rouge is an epic. That you can also see that also affects the number of fragments that you require to unlock that skin. And there is a reason for rarity as well. There are also grade rewards. You need a pretty high score multiplier to start getting S++. At this point, I basically never score below an S just because my multiplier is so high. Even if I lose. And then, you get various rewards for reaching certain emblem ranks. There is your achievements. Not all of these are actual achievements. It's pretty much just reaching the various leagues except for Master Emerald, and then getting 1,000,000 rings, and then which I currently have, I think there were several up to 150 first place wins. And then you can also link your account to a mobile profile if you want to play this on mobile as well. This game is not on consoles, unfortunately. I hope that's something that they change, because I would actually like to play this on Switch or PS4. Although, with stuff like Console Archives coming out, with being PS5 and Switch 2 exclusive, I'm not going to hedge my bets. But as a mobile game, having that on the Switch would be quite nice, and I'd like to be able to play this from my couch. So, again, it's one of those things where, while I do have issues and my own moral stance with the way that this game has monetized itself, I was a Sega kid. The Genesis was my first console. I read the Sonic comics. I watched all the Sonic TV shows, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Underground. Followed the series casually beyond the 16-bit generation. Not the biggest fan of the Adventure era, and never really got the impression that the Advance games or Rush games which I've since learned were in fact quite good, but I never got that impression back in the day because you could only really like work off of reviews, which gave you only so much information, and they would hardly be the hyper focus fandom opinion that you really wanted. Oh yeah, this is my current home screen. I can disable that. Actually no, hold on. Lava Mountain. I think it's because there's not currently a stage event. There have been 2 of those. There was a Godzilla one, and then there was a Sonic movie one. Normally, this would refresh every time you load the game, and then there would be like a little refresh icon where you could switch to your preferred stage background. But what's kind of cool about the backgrounds is that your character will have like a different pose depending on the stage. Actually, where's Chemical Plant Ring Battle? I think that's one of my favorites as well. No? No, maybe I was just thinking of the background that I was already looking at, and I've just kind of tuned it out because it's been my loading screen for so long. I think there was one where the character's like losing their balance. But yeah, I digress. So let's go into the shop. So first off, shoutouts to my buddy Digital Blues. You can support him. Also, Joey Everwolf is a creator for Sonic Rumble. So you can add their creator code here, and anytime you buy anything in the Red Ring shop, they'll get a kickback from it. There's a daily claw machine. You will get one of several terrible Sonic Forces character creator skins, or a character fragment, or an Omni fragment, which is a seasonal thing that you can spend to unlock out of season characters that you just happen to have enough fragments for. And we'll look into that in more detail in a moment. There are some things in here that I'm saving up for, specifically the Sega Stars. They have a Rappy from Phantasy Stars, specifically PSO2 in this case. And I also want to get Tangle and Whisper, who are permanent additions over here. So that's basically that. But let's crunch some numbers here, just again in the interest of transparency. So $5.99 I think is going to be the new baseline price for legendary characters going forward. But when the game first launched, $7.29 and $7.99, and in this case $9.99, were the average, as you can see. And to put that into context, we can go to the shop here, and if we were to look at where did we go to purchase? Because those are just bundles. Oh, I guess it's these. But yeah, ostensibly, let's say you would need, that's what, 320 plus. You would need basically 3 of these to get one of those skins, right? So that's effectively a $75 skin, and that's obscene. $20 at most. Fortnite rules. Like, I think that's crazy. That's absolutely bonkers. And let's be completely real here. You know, this would be $4.90. So you'd still need 40, basically $50. So they're basically taking it down from $75 to $50 for a legendary skin, which is still way too much, guys. But it is what it is. So be warned, I'm not advocating for this, but it is the nature of the beast. So if you happen to get 1,000,000 rings, you do get to play on the ring claw machine. It's always a 10-play gacha. And you will get seasonal score multipliers, various amounts of red star rings, and potentially skill points and tune-up wrenches. There are plenty of things that you can get for currency. Fair warning, there is a daily limit on the amount of rings that you can get through passively playing the game. Anything that you obtain through like rewards or a battle pass or whatever, you'll still get those. But anything that you obtain from just playing ring survival, you will cap out on those and not be able to obtain anymore once you hit that cap for the day. So for the most part, you're going to be wanting to buy your daily score booster, which basically means your however many of these you happen to have stocked up, your score at the end of a ring survival or whatever mode you end up playing will get multiplied by 2. So that's critical for the leaderboard. And there's a daily skin fragment bundle. Again, I want the Rouge skin, so I'm going to grab that. You can choose to buy some more for the legendary skin. I don't care about it, so we're not going to do that. And usually every 2 weeks, I want to say, they replace this skin here. It's not always one of these unappealing, crystal skins. Sometimes it'll be like Hero Vector, for example, was the last one. And again, this is another thing that I've been slacking on because I've been saving all my rings for the claw machine, and I have not been. So like all the daily skins and co-op battle skins and skin fragment bundle stuff and these I've been slacking on, and you'll figure out why in a second, why that's kind of problematic. Yeah, I don't know if this bundle is going to be removed permanently or not. There was another Sega Stars bundle, which I'm not seeing. There were Altered Beast characters, which seem to be gone now. And it also appears, I do get the impression that these cycle in and out. So I don't think they're necessarily gone forever. But yeah, there were other Sega Stars bundle in the Ring shop as well. Then there's also the skill point shop. So there are character-specific skills, and then there are universal skills. Again, these are things that you can buy with real currency, so technically they are, I'm going to call it a light pay-to-win mechanic. But we'll talk about why that's thankfully not much of an issue later. I've currently bought everything of like major import. You can get certain ones for specific characters. Shadow is unfortunately the best character in the game because of Doomwing Dash. It is a movement skill that lasts for a long time and is invincible. And you can also jump out of it when you max it out. It can't be used in the air, but at the same time, certain aerial skills, like Rouge's, for example, do have their liabilities. Because like she has one where she does a little spin and then will like go forward while doing like a tornado drill kind of thing. She drops like a rock after using it. Then there's also dive kick, which again, it's a dive kick. So you drop like a rock. So maintaining air is kind of difficult with a lot of skills. There are some characters like Amy, for example, has a flotation movement ability. So that's a pretty good one. But anything that's going to give you movement plus invincibility or ring absorption are going to be the meta skills. And we'll talk about that in a moment. Last thing, each season there is a stamp card. This is another thing I've been ignoring this season. So based on skins that you get, so there was a Sonic Racing Crossworlds event. So I got a epic skin, which gave me 3 stamps for Dodonpaw. I got 2 other skins that were whatever the blue rarity is. So those were worth 1 stamp each. And I want to say legendary skins are worth 5 or 7. They're, again, quite a disparity compared to... and they tell you which skins will actually contribute or not. And again, you'll get I don't know if that's actually 50% or if that's just the placeholder. It probably is. But if you max out your stamp card, you get an exclusive skill. This one does not strike me as being very good because it doesn't seem to really increase your speed, and it just throws a bunch of bombs on the field that don't explode right away. So it's not very useful. The one from the last season was a moving ring absorption skill, so that was huge. That was a must-have. And the thing is, when the game first came out, the season 1 reward is my favorite meme. It is Charge Blast. So Charge Blast, in case you weren't aware, it costs IQ points. It costs literal brain cells every time you use this skill. All right? And I say this because everyone saw this as a status symbol because it meant that they managed to complete the stamp card in the first thing. But here's what it does. Zap. It's such a small radius. And it will lock you down for a few seconds. Both the person that you're attacking, if they're close enough to you. And the reason why this skill sucks is because it is the most anti-competitive skill in the game. It is basically the equivalent of getting the gadget in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds where you start off with a monster truck. It's not going to help you. It's not going to do you anything in the long run, especially when people use it on race stages, because what it does is it locks them down for a moment. And like, even if you get the, like, oh, you can jump cancel out of it, guess what? It ends the skill effect. So, you know, jump canceling is not necessarily good for all abilities. So when you're doing a race, someone will just run up to you, use this fucking skill because they think that they're hot shit for having unlocked it. And anyone who's close enough to this idiot gets locked down for like 3 seconds, and anyone who isn't near them just gets a free win. So this is a win button, not for you, but for anyone who doesn't get hit by you. You are dragging down everyone in your immediate vicinity with you to just give a larger lead to anyone that is ahead of everyone already or has not gotten hit by your ability. So yes, I constantly make that joke. Charge Blast costs brain cells every time you use it. It costs 1 IQ point because there's no reason for anyone to use this skill ever in most game modes. And like, all it does is it takes 20 rings from each person that you hit. And while theoretically, again, to a newer player, to someone who doesn't understand the mechanics of the game, that might sound like a good deal. Like, oh, what if I hit like 8 people? That's 160 rings. Guess what? The bonus, so when you finish a race stage, the person who finishes in first gets 1,500 rings. The person who finishes in second, I think they get 1,200. So already there's a 300-point ring disparity. So unless you're hitting like 8 people twice in a course, just finish the race as fast as possible, man. You are literally taking rings from yourself by using this attack and slowing yourself down. Don't do it. It's stupid. Don't do it. Anyway. So yeah, we got all our skins here. We got the best girls. You can choose, the characters that you want to look at, and we got crossovers. I think these are only for the ones that I have unlocked, because again, there were Altered Beast things. But yeah, when I was talking about before, there is a Sonic movie stage and a Godzilla stage, which are still in the rotation, but you can't get those skins anymore unless they do that collab again, I guess. So just to use an example here, so like I'm still collecting shards for like this skin is in the daily Crane game, but I haven't gotten a single one yet, which is unfortunate. So you can get shards for free, or you can obtain them with Omni Fragments, which again are seasonal. They turn into rings. I believe it will become either 720,000 or 72,000. I forget. It's not a bad return, but it's not great either. But here's the thing. Every time you get a skin, that's going to count toward your stamp badge. And I don't necessarily know how many skins I'm going to get during the next season, right? So, let's get rid of our filter for a second. So you'll see that I'm only 10 points away. You get most of these shards for Server Silver through the stage challenge, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just sitting on this. I could be potentially obtaining an extra 120% score multiplier if I got that skin, but I'm refusing to do so because if I wait until next season, then I can just immediately get like 5 to 7 stamps on my stamp card. So yeah, I've been sitting on that as well as the Roo skin, and I'm gonna have to start fresh next season to get some more Omni fragments. And again, you don't get many. You get like 70 to 80 per season, which is not enough to get even the cheapest of skins. For example, like the Chrome Rouge is still 150, and you cannot spend Omni fragments unless you have enough to get the remainder of the skin. So like, I am almost there. I am like math. 7. I am 7 fragments away, but I can't spend them on this until I get those next 7 Omni fragments. And then let's take a look. So I've said this before. I think it's crazy, like, for a franchise that has based itself on the fact that you can search for whoever the hedgehog on DeviantArt and you'll find a result for it. The fact that they made the character creator in Sonic Forces as bland and boring as it is. It's like we got dogs, cats, bears, this fucking 1,000-yard stare motherfucker, this fucking bird. I don't like they prefabbed some of these. I don't know if these are actually based on specific prefabs from Sonic Forces or if they just customized themselves and brought them in. In my opinion, you should have just had an ability to make your own custom skin for this. Nobody really uses these except for bots, and we'll talk about how to recognize bots momentarily. And like, don't get me wrong, some of these are kind of cute, and you have characters like this where clearly this was used as a kind of a template for Whisper. But like, you've got all these creatures, and then this demon, just all the fucking dead eyes and the black sclera. Why? Like, why did that need to continue existing? It's horrifying. But yes, effectively, your score multiplier is how much money you've spent, whether through freemium currency or not. Oh, actually, no. Sorry, one more note about the horror skins. So this rabbit avatar, like literally in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, in the in like the stands at the beginning of a race, you'll see like a yellow or brown version of this with just wearing shoes and nothing else. And it's just like, man, I wish that they had made that character creator so much better, because this could have gone super far, and I feel like they really dropped the ball on that. But I would be willing to see them revisit that, because I get the impression, honestly, Sonic Forces just kind of seems like Sonic Generations 1.5 in terms of gameplay. I think the problem is it's just thematically very cringe, because it's going back to like the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon with like freedom fighters and whatnot, and then you have this cringe lord named Infinite as your final boss or whatever. And like the IDW comics are doing that with, again, Tangle and Whisper, Lanolin. You have them as members of the Diamond Cutters, which are basically a freedom fighting organization. You have cool characters like Surge, who's like an anti-hero, which is basically a better version of Shadow. She and Kitsunami are literally clones of Sonic and Tails from a platypus guy named Dr. Starline, who wanted to compete with Eggman. He basically wanted them to beat both Eggman and Sonic and Tails, so that they would get all the attention as the new, better heroes, and also be capable of beating Eggman. So like, she is a hero, but she's an anti-hero, and she's strictly anti-Sonic, but then becomes a rival character, because that's kind of the thing with... I was remarking on this recently. Sonic makes most of his enemies into allies, except for a few exceptions, like anyone that's directly associated with Eggman, like Metal Sonic, and Scratch and Grounder, or Cubot, and whatever the other guy was, and like Knack the Weasel. Like I like Fang the Hunter. That's another thing I think I should talk about here, in that Fang has had a different name in every game he showed up in. He was localized strangely as Knack the Weasel in... He's a Jerboa, actually. But he was localized as Knack the Weasel, and apparently he was raised by weasels, in Sonic Triple Trouble. But in Japan, he was known as Fang the Hunter. And then in Sonic Drift, he was just called Fang. And then in Sonic the Fighters, he was called Fang the Sniper. And it wasn't until Superstars where he was finally called Fang the Hunter, just like his original Japanese name always was. But I digress. So Surge is currently my favorite character. I really like Tangle and Whisper as well. I think the IDW comics are great. They are canon. Tangle is mentioned in Sonic Frontiers, apparently, and we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of these characters in the future. And Tangle and Whisper just got an official voice. I haven't watched it yet, but the latest episode of Tales 2 may even have them as guest characters. But they appeared in the audio series, The Chaotix Case Files, episode 3, and also Vanilla got a new voice. Apparently, she hasn't appeared since like Sonic X. So in episode 4, episode 5, she got a voice. So I'm hoping that Surge and maybe Kitsunami and Lanolin. Surge is a Tenrec, by the way, which is very similar to a hedgehog. Kitsunami is a Fennec fox, similar to Tails the fox. It's kind of funny because Kitsunami is blue, kind of like an alternate of Sonic as well. So it's kind of like a combination of both. And I don't know if he's quite the gadgeteer that Tails is, but he does use like a water backpack like Mario's Flood. Hence why he's called Kit Tsunami. But yeah, his nickname is Kit for all intents and purposes. And then there's also this thing, every new character that you get at least one skin of will eventually help you work toward unlocking Chrome Shadow. If you get 3 skins of a particular character, you get a trail of that appropriate character, but not everyone gets one for whatever reason. Probably they need to have enough skins for you to actually do that. There are buddies, which are just another thing that you can sink your wrenches into. So you get a buddy, for example, Orbot. There you go, Cubot and Orbot, the new Scratch and Grounder. So this guy gave me a plus 16 bonus to my score multiplier, and if I spend some wrenches, it is literally 1% per 100 wrenches. That's how it always works. So you can upgrade any of these. Doesn't do anything else. It just increases your score multiplier. So I've got the Game Gear. I had a Game Gear as a kid. Again, Sega kid. I'm not going to say it was great. Sonic Triple Trouble was pretty cool. The rest of those games, not so hot. Game Boy lives on. But I will stick by my Sega Genesis. I still prefer it to the NES and even the Super Nintendo. Yeah, so some of these have 5 levels, some of them have 10, and that's one of the primary ways. Getting new characters and leveling them up with tuning wrenches will get you a better multiplier. Like some of these that you get for like free through different things will only be like 1%. So Knights, for example, gets you 10% because you get them from working on the Battle Pass. And then you can level them up 9 more levels. And that eventually gets them to, whatever. So like epic rarity characters can get to 75. legendary characters can get to 180, but then some of them only get to 5 if they're obtained freely. And what rarity is this? Just rare. Okay. Okay. We've also got stickers. It's just your emote wheel. You've got actual emotes. And then you've got various flares. So you have a trail that follows behind you. I've got cat paws. I've got this pre-match pose. This is my victory pose for the podium at the end. This is after you bounce off something, your character does an air trick. They also do this trick on their way to the podium at the end. And then there's a grind trick as well. So that's currently what I'm repping here. If you change your character, you do need to customize most of these things. So you'll notice it says Surge sticker slot, animation slot, emote slot. Every time you change to a different character, not a costume, a character, you will need to recustomize that because of the skill system. And skills also contribute as well. Don't exactly understand how this works, because it mentions a score bonus, but then it says 990. So I don't know if that means. I don't think that's 990%. Like, I'm wondering if every time you're using a skill, you get like a flat bonus or something. But yeah, this screen is very confusing. But here's my current loadout. So for racing stages, I've got the baseball slide and the dive kick. For survival, I've got air dash and guard. For hunt, I've got twin surge, which is basically like a dash that you can input twice, and the kick, so I can interrupt people. For team battles don't really need skills, to be honest. So I've got a tackle that can attack people and give me a little bit of speed. And I've got Surge's equivalent of Charge Blast, just to annoy people, quite frankly. And then in Ring Battle, I've got a movement ability that has Ring Absorption, and then I have a standing Ring Absorption ability. And that's why I said earlier why Ring Absorption is so critical, because the finale is always going to be a Ring Battle, and that's going to come down to just obtaining a bunch of rings. So the more skills that you can use, because every skill has its own individual cooldown. There is an initial cooldown from the start, and then every subsequent use is a more or lesser cooldown. And so having 2 of these so that you can just grab a whole bunch of rings from around you and steal those from other players is very important if you want to compete. So for like, honestly, the ones that are most important, run and ring battle, you want to just be able to schmoove. You want to get your run skills maxed out so you can jump cancel out of them. Because the way it works is, so baseball slide, for example, it's normally like that, and then you'll notice that you kind of lose most of your momentum. If you jump cancel out of something that gives you movement speed increases, you get a crazy movement speed boost, and that becomes very important and can allow you to skip over certain sections in their entirety. It is very important. Survival stages will typically result in you getting knocked off a platform, hence why I have a guard skill that makes me temporarily invincible and an air dash to try and get back on the platform if I get knocked off. I do have a skill I'm still working on leveling up. I just don't want to use it until I've fully maxed it out. This was the... No, I don't think... No, it was the moving ring absorption. That was the season 2... the Cyclone Dash. That was the Season 2 reward. Whereas the Unstoppable Dash was a 3,000 skill point purchase that was available. Sometimes they just cycle them out. I'm not sure what the rotation is actually like, but sometimes they'll say, like, back in the store. Currently, there's no special legendary skill that's on sale here, but yeah, Very expensive and will be worth it eventually, but right now it is like, even though invincible movement is great because I can't jump out of it, it is kind of a liability sometimes, as you might end up running off a cliff. So I'm waiting to max that out first before I figure out where I might want to put that in. And honestly, I'm probably just going to replace one of these two. Dive kick has its uses over baseball slide. Baseball slide is amazing because it's so cheap. And its cooldown is also pretty solid. Actually, no, I don't think its cooldown is any different. Never mind. But it is, the timing on it is really good to get used to. Dive kick is a bit more. They do a little, like, you can see that little like reach behind. You don't move until after the actual dive kick starts, and that can throw off your timing sometimes. Whereas this unstoppable, the dash seems to be instantaneous. But there are some finish lines that are actually lower than the platform. So I don't know. I'll probably end up replacing baseball slide if I'm being completely honest, because sometimes you'll be like waiting for a door to come down, because there are stop gaps to prevent some people from getting too much of a lead. And usually that's an opportunity for someone to come in and reduce their IQ with a charge blast and lock everyone down. So if I could become invulnerable and run out of the gates, that would probably be a lot better than baseball slide. But I digress. Let's actually play some video games here. Now that I've done my fucking Sonic Rumble crash course. Like, I'll be honest, we're probably only gonna play like 2 or 3 ring survivals, and then I'll be maxed out on my ring count for the day. Unfortunately, that's typically what it comes down to. Typically 3 runs, and like, I already played a little bit, so I'm already probably 2 matches away from hitting my ring count. And then we'll probably try restream briefly, and then we'll take a brief break while I get some friends into my server, so we can check out Crossworlds. I might not even try restream, honestly, because thus far Aitum has been very smooth, at least as far as I've been seeing. I haven't actually been modding much. It is important to always try and jump out of certain airtime, like when you're coming off of springs, that will retain some of the momentum. You generally want to stay grounded on the blue acceleration panels as much as possible. How did I get hit by that? I had a shield. Did they time that perfectly? I will say the netcode for this is not great. It's no Fall Guys. So there are items as well. I have one of the 2 major attack items. There's the homing attack, and then there is the purple handcuffs. The handcuffs are better as it pulls you toward a person and gives you a large momentum buff. I fucked up. Still got my dive kick. So let's do that. And they had bombs on the ground. Motherfucker. Oh no, that was not a player's bombs. So yeah, the handcuffs will give you a lot of momentum as well as pulling someone backwards. So it's great because it swaps your positions, more or less, and gives you a lot of momentum. The homing attack, on the other hand, in earlier stages, it sucks. Well, it doesn't suck, but people will use homing attacks for no reason. It is more strategic. You should be using your homing attacks to give you a positional advantage. It gives you a little bit of extra airtime, and it takes you to the same position as an opponent. What it does in later stages, once people have higher ring totals, is it will grab 300 rings or less if they have, like, below a certain threshold. I want to say it's 1,500. You start taking less rings from people, but they lose rings and you gain them, so you're actually technically getting 600 points over them on the leaderboard at the very end in ring survival, because they're losing 300, you're gaining 300, right? So always target the person that's in first to try and dethrone them as much as possible. a lot of people piss me off because they just attack anyone willy-nilly, and then the person that's on top just gets to build their lead more and more. You need to focus on the people that are first to try and bring them back down to Earth alongside everyone else. That bot just ran straight off. Okay, so here's how to recognize bots. Full caps names using Sonic Forces character creator skins. All lowercase names like Targus here is also probably a bot, potentially. Names that reference Sega Genesis games like Axe Battler or Alex Kidd. Axe Battler being from Golden Axe. He's the warrior guy. Sometimes you'll also see names like Kiryu, or you'll see Ichiban. Sometimes you'll see a name that's like Japanese, followed by an underscore and 4 digits. Those are the name patterns. And yes, this is one of those stages where you want to kind of jump into the empty space above the platform. You have 2 lives on the left, by the way, so it's pretty generous. But you can jump ahead of the platform and attack those treasure chests for shields, or you can attack the little orbs for some rings. So, like, Alexei's 730 might be a bot, potentially, because they're using a Sonic Forces skin, even though it's not 4 digits. They might very well be a bot. And sometimes the bots will just, like, their AI will stop working, and they'll just, like, run in one spot, or just run into a wall endlessly. Okay, no, Targus is not a bot. That's just their screen name. Because bots do not perform this well. Alright, so my strategy on this stage is I try and stay in the center as much as possible. You want to hit the yellow colored... Nope, that's incorrect. Those are bronze. Eventually, gold and purple ones will come in. You want to hit the gold ones. So yeah, large bumper spawning. There we go. And this is why you want to stay in the center, because you'll just ricochet the most. But you don't want to commit too much, because eventually we get one of these. Fuck you, Targus. Thank you. Oh god, get me out of here. Get me out of here. Spring. There we go. So the hoverboard is an item that just teleports you to a fixed location. Targus is potentially stealing all my stuff here, so I want to stall myself with some double jumps. As soon as you get back here, you need to start going after pickups. As a means of defense, quite frankly. The Brickler is currently in quite the lead. Ooh, that was nice. Yes! And there you have it. We win these. Yeah, so you'll see that there's quite a points disparity from, like, Alexei on down. I am, Nep. How's it going, man? Glad to see you're here in advance of the Crossworlds. I had intended to do the simulcast test last night, but I ended up just playing Crossworlds with the new characters. Ah, a nap. Good times, good times. Oh, and of course, if you'd like to play some Sonic Rumble with me, you are more than welcome, Nep. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, before you get access to the leaderboard, so they kind of drip feed you on the various main menu functions. So before you get access to ranked matches, there's actually like a weekly skin challenge where you get matched up with like 3 other people to get thumbs ups, and whoever gets the most, or whoever gets there first gets the skin. I screwed up the trajectory, but I did get most of my lead there. So this is an example of one of the stopgaps in that you... Okay, which way are you going? So we have to push this ice block. And if you have multiple people pushing it, you kind of need to jump periodically to stop it from stalling out for whatever reason. Let's go! But yes, before you get access to ranked, the game kind of forces you to obtain a certain number of skins through those skin battles. But once you have a certain number, I guess, they stop giving you those opportunities because presumably you have enough. So it might be based on the number of skins, or it might be based on your score multiplier, because technically the score multiplier is what counts for the leaderboard. So that is the important thing. But like you can get most of your basic characters, like, you know, Big the Cat, Vector, Rouge, like their default skins through those initial skin battles before your account has been quote unquote warmed up. And by that same token, they also don't give you access to like your dailies and weeklies just yet. Or when I say weeklies, I don't think they even give you the option to join a crew right away. But yeah, so onboarding is a bit weird in this, where it's like when you first start playing it, you don't have a Sonic Lost World Desert theme, one of the best songs in the franchise, in my opinion. I'm just gonna vibe for a second. So you want to focus on the crystal ones. In each of these packs of 8, there will be 1 crystal that gives you double the value. Also, the player underscore whatever, that's just a default name. Everyone gets assigned that by default. This asshole keeps stealing my crystals! Otherwise, in the interest of time, you kind of want to bounce back and forth between them. And avoid the tornadoes. And then the final is only going to give us 4 big ones. Again, you want to kind of position yourself between 2 equidistant, and you want to bounce back and forth in the center, avoiding the tornadoes as much as possible. I actually didn't do very well that time, even though I thought I got a decent amount of crystals. Oh well. We can still make it up. I want to point out that this one was not based on rings, that was based on points. So you still get in the second round, gives you 1,000 rings at best if you're in first place. And in my case, because I was 6th, I got 600. But you'll notice that I'm still on top here because the race, the first and the final stages are always the... And you'll see I got an S rank, so yeah, I did poorly. Those are always the most important. All right, so we need to fight Aquise, the seahorse enemy. It always starts off by teleporting to the edge of the stage. So initially, you just want to go ham and attack it as much as possible. I think there are damage zones similar to the co-op stages that just aren't visible, because I know you can get like 200 points. So then he does this attack that drains your rings, but he also spawns those barrels there. Okay, and then give me those rings, bitch. I'm gonna lose a bunch here, but if you're really behind at this point in the stage, you need to kind of start farming power-ups. So that one gets very competitive. Sometimes you just kind of get fucked over based on where Aquise decides to go. But hey, we're still in the top 3, and that's, as far as I'm concerned, all that matters. Because now we still get an emblem. I don't know why there's always a 4th person on this screen. I think they just reuse what the mechanics that they use for squads. This thing down here, by the way, is what they use to give you credit toward Battle Pass progression. Yeah, so I think... oh, we got our... Oh, we completed our dailies. I'm curious, if we go to Rouge... No, still not there. We need 4 more. So that'll be another 2 days, potentially. But again, I'm gonna wait until the next season because, like, on one hand, like, sure, I might not be able to necessarily get in. I almost certainly won't get in the top 5 this week. But when the season resets, I'll be able to get that 50% season multiplier from the stamp card almost instantaneously as soon as I have enough Omni fragments for the server silver skin. And then I can also get the Rue skin, and I've also been sitting on these to get the Rappy as well as Tangle or Whisper. Oh yes, there's also the friends menu. We haven't seen it yet, but if you encounter a creator, they have a little mic symbol next to their name, and you get an exclamation point on your friends menu, so that you go check out their profile and you can see like their channel page and stuff like that. It's like, for example, if we check out my buddy Blues, you can go to his Twitch and YouTube pages through there, and he's got the Mecha Godzilla skin. He's got the other Kiryu, the non-Sega Kiryu. But yeah, like I've been saying, so this game definitely has some issues. It has some flaws. Netcode is not great. And like I said, it does have 2 layers of pay to win. There's the skill system, which is, I say, pay to win light, because paying money will get you better skills and will allow you to upgrade your skills faster than other players, and that does make a big difference. But you can get quality skills just by playing the game for free, so I don't actually consider that to be... It is technically, it is, you can pay to help yourself win. And the score system, also that Planet Wisp theme, another classic. I've seen Blue Yoshi a lot, actually. Oh, Rick Jack, I think they were on the in our previous match, or the leaderboard, I forget. Like, the score system is unquestionably pay to win, but again, that only matters for the leaderboard and if you want to progress. And here's an example. So if you get the homing attack, that's actually really good because you can use that as an aerial boost. The handcuffs you can only use if there's someone to target. Otherwise, I'll just throw it ahead of me and grab nothing. Okay, let's hang back. And there we go. Oh, I fucked myself there. That's one of the stages I have the least experience on, how to min-max. But yeah, generally, if you're at the front of the pack, you want the homing attack. If you're behind at all, you want the handcuffs. The homing attack gives you more options. You can also get lightning, which randomly strikes lightning around your character. That is really effective if you have a bunch of people coming up behind you, because it strikes multiple times and it will stun them, similar to Charge Blast, except it doesn't stop you from moving. But again, it's not a constant attack field, so it's not super, super useful. Also, the bots will use emotes periodically. I always find it a little silly, like all these people spamming emotes, because it's like, what does that add to the game? Especially on this screen where you're like, who's even using these emotes? But yeah, usually when like people fall in pits or get attacked by something, they'll do they're like oh emote automatically. Yeah, most of these are humans, I think, that are using those emotes. Like clearly, Alex Perez like really wants to. He just goes to the center of the stage and uses his charge blast. Mance just threw his IQ points into the trash for no reason. And then the other power-ups, there's speed shoes, which are really good. They allow you to pass through other players. Otherwise, players will body block you, and that can get really frustrating. Especially when you're behind a bunch of bots and they just stop for no reason. And then there's the invincibility, and then the shield. Invincibility is obviously nice for a lot of reasons, but it also allows you to run over terrain that would otherwise give you a speed debuff. The shield does as well, but it will also be consumed upon stepping on like a swamp. So, you know, note that. And again, because I'm swaggy, I take the stairs before they've even spawned. Oh, and immediately I shouldn't have bragged. If I had double jumped, it would have been fine. But your default jump also tends to carry you a lot higher than it needs to. So it is also a good idea to double jump early to cancel your vertical momentum. This is really important on stuff like any of the Sky Sanctuary stages with the bouncy clouds, because if you bounce off the cloud and you're trying to reach a specific cloud that will give you more air or rings, and you're not landing on that, you don't want to actually benefit from the full height that the cloud bounce gives you. You want to interrupt it with your double jump, and then go for the valuable clouds as much as possible. So here's the strat. You go here, grab, you motherfucker. All right. No. Well, we lose this one. So what you want to do is you want to try and target. I will say homing, like the default homing attack in this is really fickle, and sometimes it will just lock onto the wrong things. No, fuck. I'm doing so poorly. And you don't want to fight in this finale if you can help it, because it just becomes a brawl. I really want that shield, but I don't want to approach another player. This is terrible. You don't want to go up here if you can avoid it. You want to wait until a shield spawns down here, grab the shield, then try and get a treasure chest with an attack in it. Motherfucker. And see, that's what I mean. Like like with the way that the game's lock-on works, you should be able to attack blindly, and it should be able to just target whoever's closest to you. Sometimes it won't. And then on the flip side, sometimes you'll be attacking something with the intent to hit something specific. You'll even be pushing the stick in that direction, and then it'll just attack some random person off screen. So here you can see we got... Interesting. We got 24 fragments, but we still got an emblem as a result of that. I don't know why that is. But yeah, that I made so many mistakes on that last course. I need a palate cleanser. I was gonna move on and try out restream after that, but now I'm spiteful. Let's also bump up the volume. Epic, shut up. When I tab out of a game, and that's when Epic, the Epic Game Store takes that opportunity to be like, "Hey, there's stuff." Might actually do some good free stuff though, so I'll check that out later. But still, fuck Epic for interrupting me. right. There's definitely some tech I can leverage on this one. So there are actually two types of cannons. The big ones have a 4-second countdown and will fire automatically once 5 players have gotten inside them. There are smaller and longer orange-colored cannons. Why are these fruit spheres accelerating like that? That's weird. And what you do is you get up here, and then you use a movement ability. I'm keeping on to my power up, even though I would normally... Okay. Yeah! Wow, that did nothing. Okay. Oh, fuck. Yeah, and see, the orange cannons fire you instantly. Alright, that could have been worse. Yeah, fuck you, Eggman. You're not a real doctor. Oh, I've got to hit him with the... There we go. That's the only thing that I do with emotes. And when I'm feeling... Oh, he's salty now. Fucking eat chili dogs with the Oopa Oopa. Say, GU2680, that is 100% a bot. They don't always use Sonic Forces skins, but I think it's less likely for a human player to use a Sonic Forces skin. And I think that's why I mislabeled that Targus guy earlier, because I saw Jet and I thought it was one of the green rabbits or something. Or that fucking wolf, Tommaso over there. So you do kind of want to keep an eye out for that shit. Okay, it's going that way. Perfect. If you hit one of those spotlights, it will take you back to where you started the match and waste a bunch of your time. You want to be a little careful because... which way is it going? Because again, the game will sometimes just target the bombs for no reason. And you also want to stay away from other players because they can also trigger the bombs, and you'll get hit by that explosion. Okay, perfect. They're getting chased off, and then the final couple waves, just go ham. Just mash buttons. Just mash. Just mash. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. Yeah. Love flowers. I do like the Goth Amy skin. I prefer her Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog skin, the news reporter Amy, but the Goth skin is also pretty cool. Alright, we're in the top 3 at least. Gotta make up a 500 point disparity. Alright, so this one isn't too bad. For some reason we're attacking Moai heads. Don't worry about it. Again, this is a situation where you kind of just want to get away from other players because they will take your shit. At this point, I don't care about winning. I just want to beat that Eggman fucker. Because he's been getting in my way constantly. And then, again, you want to position yourself between 2 close targets so that you can maintain as much airtime as possible. Okay, I got the magnet, which is one of the most useless items. Okay. And again, for some reason, some of these things do not trigger their homing attack indicator right away. Hey, man. It's unfortunate for you. Come on. Can we get one more? Yeah. There we go. I don't think we're gonna match whoever's in first, though. No. Yeah, a lot of the items, honestly, just kind of flood the item pool so that you don't get good items. And like the problem, one of the issues with the way that the attack powers work is when you get attacked by a homing attack, you get damage invincibility for about 5 seconds, but you also can't pick up items. Oh, hey, Richardson. Sorry, I didn't notice your messages. I still don't have a proper chat set up for monitoring YouTube chat, so I have to look over at my actual stream feed. I hope you weren't... hope those messages weren't sent too long ago. But thanks for coming by. Yes, you are the first. Where was I? Well, I always take this path on the left. I don't know if it's truly faster, but the choices of 3 for the doors here are pretty easy to get correct on your first try. So I find it the more reliable method. God damn it. I miscalculated that. Okay. And again, same with these. On this stage, at least, these doors have a very high chance of just being the correct one first try. And then again, do that. And we win. So here's the other thing I use the emotes for. Yeah, I think that's something I need to look into sooner than later, is getting a proper combined chat system for YouTube. Just because I don't think that restream is going to be... Like, when I try that, I'm going to try going at the full output, but I have a feeling that Twitch is going to refuse the YouTube quality. Alright. Hopefully we can do better this time. That's my alarm going off. There we go. And it's generally not worth it traveling long distances to try and get a crystal. Because the crystals are worth double, but like you may as well just attack the golden pots around you if you're close enough. There we go. Easy. All right. It should be a good one to end on. All right. Let's see if we can quickly find Twitch, YouTube, Simulcast, chat doc, OBS. All right. Okay, so this is another one where you kind of want to ignore what is kind of positioned as the primary gimmick here. You want to aim for those sneakers as soon as possible so that you can get here and start attacking these enemies, because they give you a lot more rings. Than the first batches do. And then you want to make it to the finish line as fast as possible. Hey. Hey, man. And again, this comes down to a lot of... See, I don't know why I didn't lock onto anyone there. And you just kind of want to bounce from one pickup to another as fast as possible, because, and again, anytime you're attacking, you basically can't be attacked, and if someone manages to attack you when you're defenseless, that is seconds that you're not going to be able to do anything. I'm like, yeah, you can get the 150 rings from those other spheres or whatever, but you are, I mean, everyone else can as well. So it does not benefit you to go for the rings when you could be going for the power-ups. All right. So that said, I think we'll bookend our first simulcast attempt here, and then we'll switch over to Restream so that I can test how the chat works on that end, and also. That might be a false start. I might not come back right away because I will try to do the 12 megabits situation, and Twitch will probably have a hissy fit, so I might have to end that before I even technically go quote-unquote live. But you know, these are the things that we need to test. It does appear that we did have some performance drops at one point or another. We lost about 2 seconds worth of frames. Don't know when those happened necessarily, because unfortunately I was not monitoring my OBS stats. But aside from that, performance has generally been pretty consistent across the stream. So yeah, Aitum seems pretty good. So we shall we'll end the first simulcast here, and I'll be back in a few seconds. Well, a couple minutes probably, with a Restream broadcast. So be right back.